luck, everyone.
General quarters.
Good luck, everyone.
Welcome to the Unicum tutorial guide for the Tier 5 American cruiser Omaha. This ship is especially good for its tier because of its incredible damage dealing potential with continuous fire, especially with the first two hulls. This game we will be playing with the full upgrade because after the carrier balancing it's incredibly satisfying to be shooting down fascist and communist flies. The only downside to the upgraded hull is that you lose 2 of your aft turrets, but in exchange you get a fuck ton of anti-aircraft guns. First thing you want to look for is finding a good hiding spot from where you can fire from without being too exposed, like this island over here. It's always a good practice for any captain to always stay aware of what's happening outside of your gun sights, unless you like being one-volleyed by some pesky BB that had nothing better to do than to shoot at you. Remember that when you fire your spotting range increases, so if you like to keep your trigger happy ass safer during your battles you better hold your fire until a meaningful target shows up. As you can see, not even 2 minutes and we're laying down serious continuous fire on that Japanese BB. The crazy thing is we are not even getting spotted for most of the time we fire, which always makes me rage quit when playing my higher tier BBs. If what you are shooting at looks even armored just enough to stop a blowgun, your best bet is always to fire some HE to try and start some barbecues on the deck and AA nests. If you shoot at DDs, don't even try and load AP shells because the fuse will not detonate by penetrating thin air. Use only AP against tier 4 to tier 7 cruisers at close range, and if you can hit some of them, damn citadels. Which means if the cruiser is looking directly at you or showing its sweet ass, don't bother because it's a waste of time. As you can see in the lower part of the screen, this ship comes equipped with hydroacoustic radar to sniff out them pesky torps and smoky DDs. This feature is almost useless because you are so big and therefore can be considered the third man-made structure visible from space after the Great Wall of China and your mom. There's no way you can get close enough for this consumable to be useful, unless your spidey senses tingle enough to make you commit one of your cooldowns just to pick up some torps. The second consumable lets you deploy 2 fighters for AA defense, so you can savor even more those CV tiers. It's very situational though, because if you deploy them while you're already under fire they won't deploy fast enough, and if you deploy them in advance most CV players will turn away their planes and target someone else, which at first glance is a good thing, but it doesn't accomplish its main goal, which is shooting down planes. Because of this, most CV players will either just choose someone else to pounce on or just wait until your short AF deployment has ended so they can continue pissing you off. Thanks to its rate of fire, the Omaha can engage multiple targets at once, like you will see me doing later on in the video. Don't get too carried away shooting though, because your skinny lowly hips can only take so much punishment even from lower tier ships. As you can see from this diagram here, you don't need much skill to target the ship's vital parts. This combined with its humongous size shortens your life expectancy if you try anything funny from that of an anti-vax kid to a couple minutes. So before half of the team is dead, just pick some targets of opportunity from your hiding spot and wait patiently for the battle to develop. If you die rushing at the start you may have gotten a couple thousand points of damage off, but you just wasted a spot on your team's roster, and for this you will always be remembered as a scrub.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Let's talk some stats. The Omaha has an above average health pool, which means that you can go aggressive against most of the other tier 5 cruisers in a 1v1. Don't take your survivability for granted though, because your Citadel is as exposed as a celebrity that has been caught for tax evasion. Your artillery is your strong point. Even though it doesn't pump out huge amounts of damage every volley, its superior rate of fire helps in suppressing down opponents very quickly. For the same reason as to why your sonar is useless, your torps come extremely rarely in handy. In close engagements you can still use them as a mean to make your opponent change its path to help your chances, but don't rely on them as your primary mean to dish out them sweet rage quits. Your AA starts to become decent after you get the 3rd hull upgrade, but you still lack some long-range anti-aircraft guns. This why you need the fighter consumable to stand a chance against them pesky CVs. Though if you manage to group up with some allied ships you can still shoot down some tier 4 planes like flies in a mixer. Your maneuverability is excellent. Even though it may accelerate a bit slowly, the Omaha's turn radius and rudder shift time make you feel like in Tokyo Drift. This means that if you are slightly more aware than a blind sloth you can dodge anything provided it's farther than about 8 kilometers. As for concealment, you might as well paint this ship red like I did, because you have almost the same spotting range as same tier BBs. The equipment you want to take on this ship is main battery modification for the first slot, because your turrets and torpedo tubes are already weak as fuck and you don't want them to get destroyed. Damage control for the second, because you need as much protection from fires as you can get. And artillery plotting in the 3rd slot, because everything else is just not worth your money and the better dispersion helps you set fires more often. The skills are up to you. I would suggest first taking incoming fire alert, then adrenaline rush, then demolition expert, and then concealment expert, then whatever floats your goat. This is only a tier 5 ship after all. To get back to the gameplay, here you will see me engage another Omaha. As I told you before, you see me using AP shells against him. During the tutorial we managed to rack up already 60k damage, which is already exceptional by itself even if we would have died now. As you can see, he didn't watch this tutorial and so he's hopelessly firing HE shells at us while showing his side. Ouch. That's the power of AP shells for you. This time we citadeled him twice in a salvo, but it's not uncommon to get even 4 or 5 at close range. Ouch. Once more, we fired 3 salvos at him and citadeled him 3 times. If he would have fired AP at us, things could have probably gone differently. Well, that's my bad. I was so keen in taking out that Omaha to teach him the way of the Unicum scrub that I didn't see the BB firing at me. I guess it's time to teach him some manners. $80k easy. Oh, and if you didn't realize yet, you can see in the minimap that thanks to the early game tenderizing, now this flank is completely unguarded. Guess it's time to go punish those pesky CVs. Try and guess in the comments below how much damage we will be able to rack up until the end of the game. And if you are thinking, wow, he must really hate aircraft carriers, then well, you're fucking right. What you are witnessing is pure bloodlust and revenge for years of unfair BB gameplay.
Enemy aircraft carrier Omaha. Victory is in sight.
If you are almost dead and someone is in torpedo range, just click it and send it. Fortune favors the brave. You never know what might happen afterwards.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
Well, while this guy floods to death, thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you don't, then you are gay. With the best regards, sincerely, your Unicum scrub.
Enemy battleship foundered.